Hey, what's up? I'm doing great.
Not too much. It's been a such an interesting couple of weeks of Survivor, and I have watched a little bit despairingly for you and a few of the others, as we've kind of just seen what's been eventuating. But I wanted to jump in straight away and just ask how have you been? How's the last 24 hours been rewatching the show from an outsider's perspective?
It's so interesting watching it because I think that when you live Survivor, I feel like you get to see so much of what the camera doesn't see. You get to live so much of that.
Yeah.
And watching it on TV, I'm like, wait, the cameras are showing a lot of stuff that I didn't see, right? So it's like you kind of get to see like a different perspective of all the events that happened that day. Like I remember it happening like at least like from my perspective on the island and watching it on the TV, I'm like, oh wow, Jawan rigged the rocks against me. Everyone was out to get me. I did not realize how bad I had it, dude.
Honestly, the Jawan situation as well is so confusing in the edit because it seemed like you guys got on so well. But then when he's talking about, he's rigging rocks to make sure that that you're not the one who's getting it. Did you know about that prior to watching the episode, or was that brand new information for you?
I was actually so me and Jawan, I think that we do get along. He's from
Yeah,
LA, I'm from Orange County. We watched the episode together last night.
love that.
And so when the rock drawing scene happened, he was all like, dude, I'm sorry, bro, for what they're about to show. But you had no shot. And it's funny because it's like in the TV, I think I just give like a gosh darn it, like I wish it was me, but like no, it was the deck was stacked against me.
Yeah, it's just just stacked against you. It's so interesting the Jawan situation as well. I was really fascinated, and I don't know if you talked about this probably a thousand times already, but seeing your relationship with Jawan, it was interesting because what we're seeing on the counter Reddit of the New Hina is that people are struggling with Jawan, and he's kind of the one that is maybe a little bit on the outs from his tribe. Did you notice that division there at all?
I think what's interesting is that like I think that there was a part of me that clocked that, right? I think that when you see a bunch of different players kind of talking to each other, I think that what I noticed was Jawan, and maybe this is why Jawan was talking to me, is that, everyone else felt so comfortable talking to one another. And I think that part of me realized that he may have been on the bottom. The difference is that
Yeah.
I don't have any information. I don't have any concrete like confirmation that he is on the bottom. I just have me and my little thoughts.
Yeah.
No one from Uli was telling me anything about the dynamics of their tribe. They were hinting that there might have been cracks, but also they're actively lying to me, right? So it's
Yeah.
really hard to see. And the way that it comes off in the edit, like I'm like, oh wow, Jawan was on the bottom, and it seemingly he doesn't even know it, right? He's like very Uli loyal if he's trying to throw the rock bag at me, right?
Yeah, it's like he clearly in this moment still has hope that there's going to be, an original Ulu together, which is it's just fascinating around the perceptions of how you feel because it felt like there was a full court press against you. Everyone was against you in that moment. Did you feel that? Like, are you buying what they're telling you? Because obviously you don't play the shot in the dark, which I respect. What was your thinking around that? And is that because of the confidence, or is it another reason why you're not playing it?
So, and this is just sort of my impressions after the fact. I think that if I were to sort of describe my game on the new swap tribe, I start off being very transparent with everybody about I feel very nervous and I feel very anxious about the way that things have split up, right?
Yeah.
None of us have voted except for Sophie, so I think that the easy vote is going to be the first vote, and I would rather Matt go than me. So I was very upfront and transparent with everybody that maybe I want to play my shot in the dark tonight because if not now, then when?
Yeah.
And I think that signaling that to all of Uli, I got a lot of pushback, right?
Yeah.
I thought that I was gonna at least get some points for being transparent, which maybe is enough to barely squeeze above Matt in the pecking order. But Savannah came up to me, Rizzo came up to me. They're telling me, hey, Jason, like we need you to vote with us in order to show us. And oh wow, cute
No,
little
she's
cat.
just coming. She's coming.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like we need you to work with us. Like we want to have something happen, but we're gonna need you to kind of help us out there. And I think because I voted with them on the Matt vote, and because I got a lot of affirmations and positivity because of that, they continued to sort of lead me down that path. And I think I became like very oblivious to the fact that, yeah, like one person left, it's going to be very obvious. They kept feeding me sort of false lines and like, oh, how do you prove your loyalty? And I think that I kind of just drank their Kool-Aid and and died because of it.
Yeah, look, it's okay to drink the Kool-Aid as well. I feel like it's an underrated thought that it's so hard when you're out there and then you haven't eaten and then you're going for these challenges, which the challenge itself, like I'm not really a challenge person per se, but it seemed intense and it seemed like that was
Oh
such
my
a
God, that crate
yeah,
thing that we were lifting, it
yeah.
was insane. And just the way that like you're it's funny because you see like Sophie in the middle, like it's like she's not doing anything. But like, good for her. But it's like Nate was carrying so much, and if you're the person on the opposite end of the crate as Nate, it was so bad, dude. That was the heaviest thing I've ever lifted in my life. We had to take so many breaks. Ugh, yeah.
I
Anyways.
know, no, but that's the thing as well, like which people sometimes don't recognize is that you add the combination of the exhaustion, the heat, the challenge, and it does affect your mind. It affects your logical thinking, and we've seen that with Sophie earlier in the season as well. And it's just a challenge. It's such a huge challenge to know what to do in that situation. You ultimately decided to target Rizzo. What was it about the Riz God that was the reason that you were
I
like he's
know.
gonna be the one to go?
I should not have taken a shot at the Almighty that much. That's you saw how that went. But like I think that for me, it's sort of like I'm just trying to find any sort of in, right? Like
Yeah,
I am very much the man on the out, and I'm not gonna try to duplicate what Matt did last week. I'm not gonna try to spearhead some sort of plan. I want to listen and I want to be receptive and facilitate the plans of other people. So that's what I'm sniffing out for. And there's actually a moment in the morning, I think the morning before the challenge, where I'm talking with Sophie and Savannah. We're trying to pitch an idea that's similar to what Shannon ultimately pitches on her side,
yeah,
where it's like blue, yellow, red. Let's try to do something to be a little mischievous and and mix up the game. So I'm all ears. Who do we want to facilitate us three making it together as a crew? They say Jawan. Well, they don't actually say Jawan. I think I say beforehand. I actually like Jawan. So if it's Jawan, it has to be Jawan, but I would prefer it not to be.
yeah.
It's probably a terrible thing to say. And I think that Savannah's like, well, maybe what about Rizzo? What do you think about Rizzo, Jason? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Because I have no insight. So I think that they were just looking for a name that would placate me, which worked,
Yeah.
and they just sold me on that. They didn't tell me anything about like their dynamics. They're just like, trust me, this is good for all of us. And I'm like, okay, I have nothing else to go off of, you know?
Yeah, it's incredibly hard. Can I take you back pre-game? Obviously, it's
Oh yeah.
been talked about hugely. I loved your moment in the first episode because I just wish that all Survivor was more transparent. Like I love the going beyond the fourth
Yeah,
wall and just
yeah.
talking about it. And we've had many alternates on seasons come on and not always chatted about. Obviously, you were one this season with MC. Can you talk a little bit about that experience? And I guess I would love to ask you first, just the perspective of being told, "Hey, you're going to come out, but you're not actually playing." What is that conversation like? Because it's a big thing to actually say. Because I've thought about it in context with
Hmm.
other things. Would I personally like? Okay, well, I'm not actually going to play, but I'm an alternate on the season, and I'll still go to Fiji. I guess like it's a lot to give up for your life to have a
Yeah.
potential likelihood, which is usually very low percentage of actually getting on to go out there.
Dude, so and this is how chaotic and flexible the alternate has to be, right? Because hey, are you okay to go for a week to Fiji to do the pregame and then just come back? Or potentially stay out there for another month.
Yeah,
And the thing about my life at the time is I'm in my last semester of law school,
yeah,
and I need to find a way to be able to turn in all of my essays in case I get pulled into the game. So like it's like such a big ask, and while you're preparing for it, you feel so stupid, right? Because you're all like,
yeah,
well, like I'm clearly like, and this is like sort of the imposter syndrome in me, where it's all like, well, I'm just the alternate. I'm not like truly in the game. So it's like, am I really just bending over backwards for this show that doesn't really want me to be on the show this season,
yeah,
right? And it's like you're like sacrificing so much, but it's like that's the chance that you have, right? So I think that the prep going in, it just sort of feels like what everything that I'm doing is silly. All this preparation that I'm doing is silly, but like I want to jump for the silly chance of a lifetime. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I actually do know what you mean. I rarely talk about this stuff, but I have been an alternate
Oh.
on a for a show. Not didn't go out there. I was a
Hmm.
standby alternate back home,
That's a crazy headspace, right?
it's such a weird headspace to be in to think, okay, you go through the process, the medicals, everything to go through, and then you're like probably not. And we have seen historically, which has been really interesting in Survivor US, that the alternates have somehow made themselves on in a year removed or 2 years removed, which has
Yeah.
been really great. And you look at I actually really look at the casting of the two alternates in your season, obviously yourself and MC. I'm like, you guys are amongst the strongest on the cast. And if anything, I feel like Jeff should look at his casting process and be like, "Oh, why are these guys alternates in the first place? Because they're excellent, like actual
No,
players and characters."
dude, you know what's better than a full-fledged cast member is like an alternate with a chip on his shoulder, dude.
Yeah,
Like me
exactly.
and MC got on the beach, we're like, we are going to kick ass out there because like we need to show everyone like why we need to be here, you know?
Yeah,
And like once we got the go ahead, once we got the green light, literally the day before, both of us were told one after another, like right before we got out there.
yeah.
It's like it's go time, and I think that we really like exploded out of the gates. Like we dominated every challenge. It was insane. I'm like so stunned that that happened that way. I was not expecting that at all.
And with the MC relationship as well, I don't know if it came across hugely, but I imagine there's conversations about a shared experience and being in that same spot together, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane because like I felt so blessed to have the other one person on planet Earth that knows how I feel in that
Yeah,
moment be like on the beach with me so we can talk about it together, you know? And I think that ultimately we get split apart before we ever vote together, but me and MC, I believe that we had a really strong relationship on the Hina beach. Something that you don't see on the show is after MC finds the idol by that tree that I missed,
yeah.
um, and shows it to Steven, she actually comes and shows me next.
Wow.
So yeah, there's like this moment that me and MC have where she's like, Jason, like, I want to share this with you because like we deserve to be here. Like we deserve to play Survivor. And it was like so crazy to me. I'm like, "Oh my God, she found the idol. Like we are in it together and like I can't wait to play the game with you." And I'm gonna have to wait some more because I didn't really get to play the game with her after
Yeah.
that. I got swapped and booted, bro.
It's such a yeah. It's yeah. You got caught in. And this is the thing about Survivor. It's one of those things. It's there's so much luck that is involved in it. And like, had you guys gone to a tribal council in that first phase of the game, maybe it looks different for you. And I know this is the big thing
Yeah.
about the edit as well. And you raise a really interesting point here because ultimately, Survivor in quotation marks is telling a narrative. It's telling a story of people who go to certain points. So when we're seeing MC share her idol information with people, they're showing it to maybe people who are going to be connected to her game moving forward, not necessarily you in that
Yeah.
situation, even though you are connected to her in the game and it is a real relationship that is happening. It just exists in reality, not in the Survivor reality.
Hmm.
In that space, I know what we're presented about Hina, but what's your perspective about if you lose a challenge in that period, what's happening for you?
So I think that the edit shows part of the story. I
Yeah,
think that uh Stephen, Christina, and Matt made a really like tight alliance right out the gates, and they added MC
yeah,
as a fourth. The thing that you don't see on the show is that me, MC, and Steven also have like a very early alliance. So the three of us, plus we picked up Sophie as a fourth, puts Hina in like this kind of Venn diagram with MC and Steven at the center. And I think that the difference between those two halves, if we were to go to tribal, ultimately, I believe it would be MC and Steven's decision as to who to keep. And the fact that me and MC were alternates together, the fact that she shared information with us about the other alliance, plus like the idol and things like that, I felt very comfortable in my spot on Hina. I'm not sure what would have happened. But like with the information that I was provided, I felt confident that we would be able to all make it out of that first tribal with our alliance intact.
Jason, obscure question. It's about Pokemon. I
Oh,
have to
dude, lay
ask.
it on me, dude.
So obviously you're out there, and please feel free to disregard this. I can cut this in the edit. But your tribe members, the players that you played with, can you make any comparisons between a Pokemon to the people, like Jawan? Like what kind of
Oh
Pokemon
my
is a Jawan?
dude, I actually think that Jawan kind of acted a bit like a Psyduck out there. Like he was like when he like grabs Savannah's bag and when he grabs Savannah's water bottle, I think that the face he literally made was like the
That's
the
what
Psyduck
it
headache.
is.
He's like, what was I doing, bro? So I don't know. He's such a fun, lovable guy, but he kind of he kind of falls on his face a little bit.
Yeah, I actually can see that so vividly. That's great. That's great. Is there anyone else who can think of, and I'm not going to put you on the spot. Is there anyone else you can think of, like his that you can compare to any of the Pokemon that you love?
Oh my gosh. Oh, so by the way, I'm gonna just pull it away. I said that, okay, just talking Pokemon here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
said that
go.
Mudkip was my favorite Pokemon to Juwan because I wasn't sure if I had to say a starter Pokemon or not.
Okay.
But my actual favorite Pokemon here, take a look, buddy. It's Quagsire. I have this whole shrine dedicated to my favorite Pokemon and all of his Pokemon cards. And I think that I think I actually behaved a little bit like a Quagsire out there.
Yeah.
Little derpy, a little unaware of what's going on. Ultimately there for a good time, but very expendable.
Jason, give me 20 seconds. Apologies, Laura. I'll edit this in the edit, but just give me 20 seconds. I'll be right back.
Something tells me he's gonna get a Pokemon.
I am getting a Pokemon, so I don't know if you can see this properly because I've got the green screen on, but
Oh,
this is my Pokemon binder, and
whoa.
so in it, I've recently just recollected the. Oh, I can't even see it. I'll see if I can turn the filter off. But I've recently just recollected the original base set.
Whoa,
So
wait, like first edition, second edition, or do they like
no,
re-release?
they're not first edition because I'm not that rich, but I'll just turn the background off of my
Oh, we get a little
show
peek of what
background.
this is.
Yeah. But yeah. So I've just recollected like
Whoa, dude, nice.
that. And I've got like I'm starting to collect like the Team Rocket set from like 1999 at the moment. So
Mhm.
no, I loved your little Pokemon moment and talking about
Dude, I
it.
did
So
too. I didn't realize that that it was gonna make the air. I didn't realize that the Super Smash Brothers stuff was gonna make
yeah.
the so a lot of fun little surprises for me.
No, it's so cool. I love to end these podcasts by talking about gratitude. Gratitude's such a big part of my life, and I think in life in Survivor, there's so many things to be grateful for. What have you taken away from this whole Survivor experience for yourself?
Dude, I think that gratitude is honestly like the only word I can come out of the experience with. Like I said, like straight up, like at the end, as I'm getting voted out, it's like Jeff comments like I'm smiling. Like, why am I smiling? I just like my chance for $1 million is gone, right? But it's
Yeah,
like the fact that he even got to play, the fact that like I had so much anxiety and nervousness going into being the alternate, right? That it's like, dude, I'm actually the one that had a shot to do it, right? Like I think that that puts you in such a different headspace getting
yeah,
into the game that it's like every day out there truly was like it was amazing. And even if you're on the outs and all you can do is talk about Pokemon with the other dude that's on the bottom, it's like,
yeah.
hey man, like I had a blast out there.
Yeah, I love that. Had a Blastoise out there, so good. I think it's so cool, and so interesting you talk about the $1 million in this context. I ask this question a lot, but the $1 million, while it's important, there'd be people out there who would pay $1 million to be in the spot that you had for that period of time. So congratulations getting to go out there to be part of that family, to have the buff, to make the swap, and you got unlucky, but to be part of that experience is so cool. And congratulations on getting to play the world's best game.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Cool.
Thanks, Jason. And thank you, Laura, for setting this one up as well. Super appreciate it.
Of course. And by the way, like you guys are talking Pokemon, my daughter as a freshman in honors English had to collect 100 Pokemon every month and then had to do this big project on it.
Oh
Oh
my
my,
God.
That's
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
Pokemon. That's a lot.
It
Pokemon's
was a
old
lot
now.
of,
The
she was the
teachers are
only
making
one
them.
who, she was the only one who hadn't, the kids, there were kids who obviously played, not
Yeah.
her thing. She was the only kid who actually made it to 600, like by the end of school, who
Jeez,
was new
Louise.
at it. So.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is so cool. I wish I had that class. That would be so much better than some
Yeah.
of the classes I had.
It's funny. I
Right.
was so not to just like extend the interview, but it's like
Mm.
one of my favorite players, Kenny from Gabon, was a Smash player. He's been
Yeah.
following the season, and he tweeted earlier today. He was all like, "Dude, I wish I could have talked about Pokemon and video games on my season. What the hell? Survivor's like more for me now than it was back then."
Yeah, Kenny's a I love Kenny. He's such an example of what was Goodbone was what season 17? Like it
17.
was yeah, it's forever ago. And the casting is so different now. Like I think society is different. I think it's just better in terms of how we represent real humans. So I think it's cool in terms of yeah, it's cool to have the connection with people who played like 15 plus years ago at this point as
I
well.
know
Like it's
it's
such a
crazy.
cool extended family. But
Yeah.
genuinely, thank you so much for chatting, Jason. I really appreciate it.